All right, a look right now at Minneapolis, and we've seen it sort of energize over the last few minutes with protesters and federal agents once again clashing. The state of Minnesota also new this morning suing the Department of Homeland Security over the administration's immigration crackdown. The White House also ending the temporary protective status for Somali immigrants. It seems as though in the last couple of minutes things have calmed down, but they did deploy some flashbangs and some other non-lethal measures to disperse that crowd. We also know, as Mills Hayes has been reporting, some of these protesters, they kind of watch when the federal agents leave the federal building and follow them or report neighborhoods where they're going. And it's not just Minneapolis, it's across Minnesota. Joining us now, former Homeland Security Advisor for New York State, Michael Balboni. And I mention that because I want to talk to you just about tactics from both sides. I mean, there's critics of the agents that say they're not being transparent. They show up in masks and they're banging down doors. Others say that these protesters are following them. They're getting in the way. They're putting the public at risk because of some of what we're seeing. How do you lower the temperature?
So Governor Tim Walz had suggested that perhaps the Attorney General and other law enforcement from the local communities get involved in the investigation of the shooting, the recent shooting that happened in Minneapolis. I think that might be a step where you could perhaps have people understand that there is more transparency in terms of the investigation of that shooting. But moreover, if you have a mayor in particular who says we're not going to cooperate in any way, shape, or form, and the cooperation doesn't necessarily mean you go and you arrest people, you take over the mission of ICE. It could be about protecting folks on both sides to make sure that the ICE officers don't do things that could put people in harm's way, and that the populace understands that they cannot put themselves in harm's way, which we've seen just recently. Look, from a very broad perspective, and this comes really from what New York City has experienced over the years when you have broad protests. Once you start using non-lethal munitions, there's a real sense that you've lost control of the crowd. Now, in Minneapolis, obviously the protests are very distributed, and it may be impossible to create barriers between the ICE operations and the populace. But that's really what you need to do. The most important thing in responding to civil protests is to create space between the protesters and between the officers. And it doesn't look like that's a possibility here.
No, I mean, it's the opposite. It seems as though both sides are doubling down. The work continues and more people are showing up to get in the way of that. Pull back the curtain a little bit for you, if you will, Michael, on just the risk analysis versus benefit of these operations. I mean, the administration has been clear it's black or white. If you're in the country illegally, we're going to come after you. We'd like for you to self-deport, but if you don't, we're going to arrest you. But how are those conversations most likely, since you've been part of them in the past, being had?
Yeah. So what I think is important, typically the president will put a lot of stuff on social, True Social, and you're not always sure what type of things you should pay attention to. But this one, what the president has said recently, as recently as this morning, is that he's characterizing the individuals who are in this population of illegals. And he's talking about people who are murderers and rapists and from folks who were previously in mental institutions. And you got to wonder where that is coming from. Is there intelligence and information that they've been able to glean? Is it more than just the issue of the fraud? And in the billions for the Medicaid fraud, because what's happening here in terms of the public dialogue, people are saying, "Wait a minute! If you're going after just tremendous fraud, we completely agree with that, and we applaud that. We also don't want illegal criminals here. That's redundant. An illegal individual here who's a criminal, but they don't believe that just going in and enforcing the Medicaid fraud rules requires this type of effort by police and security. So I think, again, the conversation needs to evolve where the White House sits there and says, we're going to be continuing these operations until we reach X result. And that when we reach X result, then we're going to dial it back. But we need to work with the state.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.